I hate her friend. Hate. Viscerally cannot stand this friend. I can't tell you as a single person how annoying this friend is.
Right. I've never really heard of like gatekeeping a man. Maybe like gatekeeping like your single friends. Like, why aren't you introducing me to like all these single men you know?
This conversation is hard for me because no one ever listens. We're trying to tell married people how to set you up, and they think anyone who is single is in need. Just because you want a relationship doesn't mean you need a relationship.
Hello, and welcome back to the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana, virtually. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm coming to you live from my parents' pool house in Boca Raton, Florida. So you can see with the olive-colored furniture.
Honestly, whenever I see that shade of green, I now think exclusively of your parents' pool house.
Right, anywhere. Right, it is now and synonymous. This color could be called pool house green.
No, parents' pool house green.
Parents' pool house green. Yeah, that's right. Thank you to the U Up family. I had some flight issues. This is what happened.
Yes. We were supposed to record yesterday, get a text from you Monday night. The flight has been canceled.
Literally, they had already done upgrades. They've already done like
Did
this
you get your upgrade?
No. So I was happy.
All right.
All
so you were that is better.
Upgrades. Right. Yeah. It's the cancellation you never see coming, and I'm saying this as a frequent flyer. The union rules. That is the one you never see coming. This pilot is done. They got to go to bed. We don't got another crew. Everyone here go home. And that's kind of what I got caught into.
Right. I mean, that's the one where you're like angry, but you're also kind of like, all right, I don't want the pilot to fall asleep in the middle of the air and kill the whole plane.
Honestly, it didn't seem as though people were thinking that way. They were real shock and awe, anger, I would say, are some of the emotions that ran through the crowd. People were screaming.
Screaming?
No, oh my, it got bad. That's a moment when a flight gets canceled, you go, thank God I'm single. Because I heard, literally, honestly, the only person I was letting down was you to tape this podcast.
I understood.
Right.
I understood.
That was the only text I really had to. There was a few texts to send, because it becomes rescheduling. It's just like.
I mean, it was fine on my end. I canceled my dog walker. Saved
you some money even. That's right. Okay, well, also, in addition, we have an announcement. U Up Live is coming up. It is in 3 weeks. U Up Live. We're going to be at the Palladium in Times Square. Get your tickets now. Get those tickets now. And also, we want to bring you on stage. This show is a live experience. We want deal reveals. So if you have text with someone that you want us to decipher and translate, send in those screenshots. We're going to bring you on stage.
And I understand those come in a little later. People don't want an answer to a guy who's ghosting them's text on, because we're recording this is coming out, like April 9th?
A month ahead of
3
time.
weeks later. Yeah. I understand those are a little bit closer to the deadline. We'll give you some grace there. But the dating app makeovers, we're going to pick those ahead of time. So don't be sending them in. We get this a lot. People they procrastinate. They're sending them in last minute. Dating app makeovers, you need help. You can send it now.
Send it now. And we're going to make fun of you, but with love. I think that's the power of this show. We're going to give you shit, but we're going to send you off packing with your the lunchbox full of juice and snacks, and you'll be ready for the water park.
Yes.
Yeah.
And send us, if you're submitting a dating app makeover, also send us your Instagram profile.
Yes.
Make it public so we can get rid of your old shitty sunglasses photos.
Right.
And we'll pick one that we think represents you better.
If you're going to be in the crowd and you have a question for your situation that's not screenshots, that's not, you just are there on site with your own question, send an email and let us know you'll be there. We want submissions. This is a user-generated show. Red flag deal breakers, and it's coming up. So get your tickets too. It's on betches.co/uplive. It's on my website, jaredfreed.com. So go. Send us your dating app makeovers. Send us your deal reveals. And In addition to all this, I'm in Nashville right now as you hear this.
Right now you're doing like a little like mini tour sort of, right? A Nashville residency, if you will.
A little residency. I'm going to be doing these from now through the summer. Little tiny 1 week things with like 100-seat rooms where I can work on this new material.
No, I mean, that sounds great. Sounds very intimate, which I think is like great when you get that feel. I mean, obviously like a big theater show is amazing, but sometimes when you see like a great comedian in a small room, you really feel like it's a different level.
Nashville, Tennessee, and then I'll have more shows coming up. But let's get to what are we talking about today? I loved this email. This email is absolutely perfect for this show.
Great email. And I don't think we've really covered much about that in this show before. So let's get into it. Dear J&J, I'd love to hear your thoughts on a friend who is gatekeeping her single guy friend. Toward the end of football.
Let me stop you right away. That's this idea of gatekeeping feels very female to me. This is not the gatekeeping thing, gatekeeping clothing and deals and makeup and men. Like, this is something, again, I'm saying this straight dude on a dating podcast. When I saw this, it's such a harsh way to describe.
It is. It's
can you tell me your experience with women and gatekeeping? And I'm sorry to gender this, but I'm like, it doesn't feel like something I've ever accused a friend of doing.
Right. I've seen it more in like the influencing community. I like the term. I'm not saying I like the meaning of the term, but I like the term because it's so specific and it describes such a specific action that I think it's kind of cool that there is a word for that. Where'd you get that like top? Don't gatekeep that top. Like, we need to know like where we can get that. Like, you're trying to hide the top, this like new shirt that you've got.
That's the thing. The etymology of it, if I think I'm using the right word, like this, all the stuff that happens on the internet, like we have felt it in our everyday lives. Is this like, tell me where you got that shirt in your closet? Like, you're holding me back. I just like this idea of women holding another woman back for no reason other than to be an individual. Is that what it is? Like, I lose my snowflake?
Yeah, I think that's the idea. I guess it's like a don't copy me thing.
Sure. I think that's what it's become, but it comes from a place of honesty. Like, have you ever felt that someone was keeping a man away from you that they didn't necessarily want to date or need?
Just to like, to make you be single? I don't think so. I'm like in this, I've never really heard of like gatekeeping a man. Maybe like gatekeeping like your single friends. Like, why aren't you introducing me to like all these single men you know?
Right. I don't know. Do you think there's a thing with like if you've like flirted with a guy before that you like don't want to release their information to someone else because somehow someone could get the life that you would have had if you had ended up with this guy who was flirted with?
I mean, I have theories about this email. I think we should let's do the email and then I think we'll get into it. I think that'll help give it a little more context.
For sure.
All right. Toward the end of football season, my friend, we'll call her Katie, invited me and another friend to a bar and to watch a game. Her boyfriend would be coming and bringing his single friend. We'll call him Matt. And Katie was hoping he'd click with one of her friends. When he showed up, I was definitely interested. I played it cool. We chatted and flirted a bit, but he was friendly with everyone, so I couldn't tell for sure if he was into either me or Katie's other friend. The next time Katie saw Matt, she asked what he thought of her friends. I got a long voice message from her afterward, raving about how he was interested in me specifically. It was so great to hear. We come from the same background, and I know he's actually looking for a girlfriend/marriage, which has been tough to find. I'm 32, and I feel like most marriage-oriented guys are taken. I said, "Oh, that's great. Honestly, life is short. Do you want to just give him my number?" She responded, I didn't tell him you were interested. I feel like it would be more fun for him to ask you in person next time we're all together. I said, for sure, but I've only met him once in the 3 years you and your boyfriend have been together. Is there a party or something coming up soon? She said we'd make something happen, but this feels so college to me. Am I being too much by not wanting to wait for another chance meeting? He seems like a diamond in the rough, and I doubt he has a hard time meeting people. He doesn't have social media, another plus, honestly, so I can't go that route. I'm so frustrated with my friend, but obviously I can't make her give him my number. Any ideas on how I can make things happen? Sincerely, gatekept gal pal.
I love this email. I want to tell this emailer, you are seen, you are heard. I hate her friend. Hate, viscerally cannot stand this friend. And this friend exists all over this great country of ours. I can't tell you as a single person how annoying this friend is.
Right. To me, it's very confusing as to why she would leave the long voice message saying that he was interested in her.
Very confusing.
Right? Because my initial thought is like, he's not interested, and she's kind of just saying he's interested to make her friend feel good, but he's not actually interested, so she's not going to give her the number. Or he said something like, oh, he liked hanging out with her, but didn't actually want to go on a date. Or I feel like a lot of guys are kind of like that. So that was my initial hypothesis. Like, a man could think you're hot and engaging, but also be like, I don't know if I want to go on a date with a woman who's very marriage oriented, and I'm not even though I seem like I am, I'm not really looking for that right now.
This emailer has emotionally masturbated to this dude in a way that needs to be acknowledged.
Yes.
She has said that 32-year-old men who are marriage oriented are a diamond in the rough. She described him as a diamond, a guy she spent one hour with, as a diamond in the rough. So she's ahead of herself, which I'll allow. Like, I'm not.
I get it. Yeah.
I get it. She is in no social media. That's a good thing. Oh my, she's already painted a picture of this guy he does not deserve. So I get all of that. But I'm with you. I didn't see. So what did you think maybe happened?
If my theory is true, then her friend's an asshole. Why would you leave someone a message basically telling you that someone was interested in you and then not try to facilitate that? To me, that seems like a weird, mean move. Like, what's the point of leaving a voice message to tell someone how much someone liked you unless you were going to facilitate the next step of that?
Though I agree with you. To me, there's an option. So I wrote down the options of what happened.
Okay.
One of the options is she is getting entertained by her friend's single life. That she gets off to like involving herself in her single friend's life. And this gave her some excitement she hasn't had since she's been single.
You think she made it up?
I think it was like she went to him and he said no, which is weird to then like she sent this voice note before going to him. Right. Because he said some nice things, and she took that as like, oh my God, he's
so
into
her. Right.
And then she went to the friend and was like, she's down for a date, and the guy was like, oh, I'm like,
I'd have sex with her, but I'm not trying to like go on a date with her.
Right. And she said you're marriage oriented. Oh no. Right. She got me all wrong. Yeah.
Right. No, invite her to the party, and then maybe we'll hook up.
Right. Let's let this happen more casually. Or I'm actually seeing someone. I wasn't really upfront with like how serious that has gotten. He could say that as well, which is totally normal in an enraging way, I'm sure, to some of the audience. She never got a glowing review of her, and she just said this to have fun. Like, I think that's like an option.
Maybe like those are the vibes she felt like, oh, he's obsessed with you.
Right. And I've met those people. Those people do exist. Oh, no, she would definitely go out with you, Jared. Oh my God, she like loved you. And then you're like, really? And she's like, well, I haven't asked her.
But I just know, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but this is,
or maybe she got because it says she went into it wanting someone to date one of her friends, wanting this guy to date one of her friends, right?
Right.
So maybe she went into it like writing a check that she couldn't cash, like, oh, like my boyfriend's friend Matt is so cute. I'm gonna make sure he like set up with one of my friends, and like I think to give her the benefit of the doubt, I think in her head maybe she was like, this is going to be great. We're going to go on double dates. Like, I'm going to tell her he's obsessed. And then her friend's like, great, give him my number. And then she asks him and he's like, I'm interested, but not interested enough to like date.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you that could have happened. She, the friend who's married or in a relationship could have emotionally masturbated herself into she's emotionally masbated this whole double date life together. That's a kinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhere in between all of these. Like I had another one written down. She got a glowing review of all of the people that were there. And then she goes, well, Samantha's ready. And he was like, well, I was kind of talking about the other one more than
right.
her.
I've had this said to me by men when, again, they're like kind of interested, but not interested enough for like a formal date.
Right.
And they'll say, why don't we just like hang out again? And like, we'll see if like it, usually that happens before you've met the person though.
This conversation is hard for me because no one ever listens. We're trying to tell married people how to set you up. And here's the reality about your relationship friends. They think anyone who is single is in need. And just because you want a relationship doesn't mean you need a relationship. And I think when they think you're in need, they just make assumptions and they say, just go out with them. Or they say, oh, he'll go out. And she might have assumed that he was going to go out with her based on after the hangout. He was like, oh, she's cool as hell. I liked her. You know, she was really awesome. And she just got ahead of herself, sent this long voice note. And now she had to like go back to the guy and go, well, she's in. And he's like, whoa, I just said she was cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure she's looking at the friend, the boyfriend's friend and going, well, you don't think she's awesome? You don't think she's great? Why not? And he's like, it's just not, I don't need to.
Right.
And I
think I'm a commitment-centric 34-year-old and I could have anyone.
Yeah, it's just, so it's frustrating. I feel bad for this friend. I don't think the woman, her friend, is gatekeeping. That was my thing. Like, I think that description of what this friend is doing is not the case. I think there's something we don't know.
I agree. I think like if he did want the number, she would give her the number.
Right. Like, I think this person doesn't even like understand like what they're doing. Like, this friend doesn't understand how vulnerable it is to say, I would like to meet someone.
Yeah.
It is so vulnerable to say, I just want to meet someone without sounding pitiful and desperate, which is not what these people are. Everyone wants to meet someone. No one needs to meet anyone.
I totally agree. I think that she doesn't know the context of how annoying it is to get a message like this, how it feels like someone's breaking up with you that you never even dated.
That's a perfect way to put it, because I went on stage and talked all about this. And then afterwards, I get this Facebook message from a girl I went to college with being like, my friend was at your show with all her friends. They loved you. They have a friend they want to set you up with. How should they message you? And I go, I'm right here. And I'm like,
same way you are.
Right.
On Facebook.
Right. Facebook. Here it is. So this person messages me and they go on this 3-paragraph rant about their friend. And I'm like, no fucking picture? Like, I was so annoyed because I was like, I don't know. I can speak for the men. I think a lot of women can go off of a bio and how great someone thinks they are.
I don't think they can. I think it's rude no matter what the gender is. I would never go out with someone who no one showed me a picture of. To try to do that, it's like you should be grateful for anyone who wants to speak to you.
That's what they're saying. They pity you. They think you need a relationship. I don't need shit. I got my studio apartment. I got my parents' pool house. I got one fork. I got a little light bulb that I turn on.
I agree. I think it's disrespectful.
It is disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
And again, when they have you vulnerable. So I have actually written a video that our listeners can send to their married friends, because I do believe the fix-up is the greatest way to meet someone. You can send this to your friends. If you're single and you would like to be thought of by your friends as a fix-up, you can send from here on. Can I do this? You ready?
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jared Freed, and I'm being sent to you by your single friend. They want you to set them up. Now hold on. Shh, 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 shh. I know. You don't know anyone who's single. You don't know one single person who's a breathing human on earth. And if you did know someone single, you would have already set this friend up with them. This isn't an attack. This is your friend asking you to keep them top of mind. Now, hold on again. Hold on. Your friend is not sending you this video because they need a partner. They'd like a partner, Your friend is doing just fine. They love their life. They like their money and their snacks and their shows. So they don't want you to just set them up with anyone who might ruin their money, snacks, and shows. They just want you to do two things. Two things. If you meet someone single and you think of them right away, let's make an introduction. And the way you're going to do that, you're going to do two things. You're going to tell your friend why you thought of them. Why did you think of your friend to set them up with this person? It can be anything. They were nice. They were handsome. They were pretty. They were funny. They had a great job. Huge penis. They come from money. Any of those things would do. Just need one why. Number two, they want pictures. They don't care how many, just enough to let them know what they're getting involved with. And if they say no, it's not because that person's unattractive. It's just not their type. So that's all we ask as single people. If you meet a single person and you think of me, or you think of your friend, make the introduction. Tell us why. Show us pictures.
Love it.
Did I just nail it?
Yeah.
Let's do an awkward encounter. You ready?
All right, I'm ready. You want to read it?
Send yours in, uup@betches.com, uup@betches.com. Hi, J&J. Love you too and desperately need some advice. I've been seeing this guy I met on Hinge. We have a lot in common. We always have fun together. He's a doctor, so it's hard to find time to see each other. But after 3 weeks of not being able to meet up because of work and a trip I had, we have finally had the chance to spend some time together. When we were hanging out, I noticed he kept his hat on the whole time, which was unusual for him since he usually takes it off. After a fun day walking around the city and grabbing coffee, I invited him over to my place again, but he declined. That's when he told me that he had a hair transplant 2 weeks earlier and wasn't comfortable taking off his hat yet. I told him it didn't bother me and that we shouldn't let that affect the rest of our time together. But he insisted on keeping it on. Context: this man has a slightly receding hairline. I think it's fine and have dated totally bald men in the past. My motto is, if we connect, we connect.
Riveting.
I said no man ever. Let me just say that.
Well, yeah. If
we connect, who cares that I don't want to fuck her? To me, you have a type and a taste, and I don't think guys leave the house unless the type and taste.
Right, but she's saying he
sense.
is her type. She's into him.
Right. Well, she's saying I've dated bald men before. I don't think that's how a woman would want to hear that you're their thing. Like, I just think, I do think men have egos. I do think men like to look good. I think the way this is being positioned, I don't care that you're bald. We connect. It's not like, that's not saying I find you fucking hot.
Okay. But he's the one who's I don't know. I feel like this is a fair way to put it. It doesn't bother me that you're bald.
No, he's self-conscious. I just think if said the same way to a woman, not taken kindly. I don't care that you got lines on your face. I don't care that you look old. I don't know.
I don't care that you haven't groomed down there. I don't care that you have it, I don't care that your boobs are different sizes. Happens to a lot of women.
You think you can't put it that way.
If they were complaining about it, I think if they're complaining about it, then you can say, I don't care that.
I don't care that you're AB positive. I'm into it.
This thing,
A
you could say
B-tit, and I'm positive about it.
I'm just saying, I think that if there's an insecurity and someone says, I don't care about that thing, I think that's nice. No?
I think insecurities, as an
you have to say, you have to say you love it.
Not have to. I'm just saying, you don't have to do anything. I'm just saying,
well, she's
as an insecure person, it is all in how you say things.
Okay.
And listen, I'm a sensitive guy. Someone could accuse me of being sensitive, and it cuts me out at the knees. I'm just saying, this guy is self-conscious about his hair, enough so that he spent money to get it changed.
Yeah. And I think for men, it's more emasculating to care so much to do something about it, I feel like, than it is to have the issue. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And that goes into my point about I don't care that you're bald is different than I think you look hot.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what, but I'm saying, like, if he owned it, like, no one would care, but I don't know.
Okay, so fast forward to our second date after that, and we ended up hooking up at his place. He still kept the hat on the entire time. A beanie, if you need a visual. It's like you're hanging out with the Six Flags mascot. Yeah, even when I tried to take it off. Come on, can you imagine her? Just take it off already.
Hands, get your fucking hands off my hat, my beanie.
It'll ruin the follicles.
They're sensitive to touch.
I mean, for a guy trying to be more fuckable, he is doing it in the most unfuckable way.
This would be a turn off to me. Anyway, go on.
He laughed it off and said, "No, I'll keep it on." That's when the momentum got faster. It felt like he was trying to rush through the rest of our sex, almost like he didn't want the hat to become a thing. Oy. Hey, take off the hat. No, I'll finish this up and we'll be done in a minute.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to hear during a sexual experience.
Yeah, I think he's making this into a very negative sexual experience.
Of course.
This is on him.
Here's where I need help. A few nights later, we met up again at my place, and once again, yup, you guessed it, he was wearing a hat. This time, it was a baseball cap. Things started to get more intimate, but the front of the cap hit my head, so we had to stop. He apologized and went to the bathroom.
Next time, he's going to wear a sombrero. Make sure you don't touch him.
Don't worry, I got a softer brim for this time.
There's a rabbinical black hat. That's next time.
Can you imagine you're just getting poked like he's Woody Woodpecker with this hat?
Yeah, I mean, it's so, to me, it's like so cringy because it's so insecure. That's the whole thing. It's all confidence, right? You got to wear your baggage proudly.
Wear it like a big old fucking bald head. Okay, he apologized, went to the bathroom. I tried to bring it up with him, telling him I didn't care about how he looked. See? And that he should just take off the hat so we could have normal sex.
Hot.
Right. I mean, this is a porno. He went quiet, apologized again, and then started getting dressed to leave. It's been 2 days since I've heard from him, and now I'm starting to wonder, is it the hair transplant that's making him act so shy and insecure? I mean, the whole point of getting it is to feel more confident, right? How do I explain? I don't care. Just take off the hat while we hook up, please. Sincerely, is it me or is it the hair transplant?
Okay. So I think you have good advice in that I don't care isn't necessarily like the only thing you want to say. I don't care.
It's not what I would want to hear.
Yes. I think you're really hot.
Jared, I don't care about your man titties. I like you for your personality.
I love them. I think you look hot.
Right.
I love them. Yeah.
How about I really like you turn me on, plain and simple.
There's no way he turns her on. Like, if he's acting like this.
I feel for him. I also feel for her because men really do want to feel like they have achieved someone, that they've won, that they've crushed it. They've brought home the head of a prize lion. And I think when she's saying, I'll take anybody as long as there's a connection, you're kind of like yucking his yum a little. Like this is one of those conversations that like I'm thinking of like the TikToks made about this, and it's like, oh, you gotta like soften your, who you are just to make this man feel better about himself. And it's like, yeah, we do that all the time. Everyone's doing that. Everyone's selling, everyone's making negotiations with how they would normally say things to make the people they care about feel better. Like that's a real world thing.
Do you think that that's going to work? Like, I think this guy seems so insecure about it. Like, I think she could try that. I agree. I think a better method would be like, I think you look hot. I'm really attracted to you. You really turn me on, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff. But I also think this is also a little on him. Like, if you don't like yourself, don't date yet. With this hair thing, it's like, maybe you're not ready to date. Maybe this hair thing is like really a psychosexual sort of almost like disorder of yours that you don't think you're attractive enough for that someone would like you with this as an in-between thing. Like, it's vulnerable to say, yeah, I don't really like, my hair is something I'm kind of insecure about.
Right.
but then that needs to be followed up with, and here's how I'm dealing with it.
I agree with everything you said, and I want to encourage this woman who wrote in, it's okay to be turned off by this behavior and not date him anymore.
100%.
Listen, like, if she wrote in and was like, with this awkward experience and said, for that reason, I'm out, she Shark Tanked, and she was like, and because of the insecurity, I was just turned off and couldn't go back to him, I'd go, good for you.
Makes sense, sure.
Totally makes sense. I would agree with her. We would probably have the same talk here. We would go, oh, totally understand to be turned off by someone not, dealing with their insecurities in an adult way.
Right.
Totally get it. So she needs to know that it's okay to like walk away from a doctor. Like someone in her life is like, well, give him a chance and maybe he'll be different. No, he might. This insecurity, like, a lot of insecurities, the thing you think is going to fix it doesn't fix it at all.
Right.
Like,
and to me, it's more of a thing about here's how he's handling the insecurity. He's like not really working with you here.
He's literally putting a Band-Aid over it. Like the hat is a Band-Aid. Like,
and it's okay to fix yourself. It's okay to like feel like you don't like something about yourself and change it. But I think it's more about like the way that he's owning and describing it and like getting into it. But I think if she wants to salvage it, if she wants to try to salvage it, she really likes the guy. They connect. Right. I would text him, hey, I know like things were a little bit awkward the other night. I want you to know that I think you're really hot. I'm really into you. And I apologize if I made you feel like uncomfortable. If you're interested in seeing me again, I'd love to go out.
Right. No, I agree with you. That's kind of the only answer. Like,
yeah, if she wants to do that.
Right. And I think I'm not trying to like blame the victim here, because I do think she's the victim. Like,
because he's not explaining himself. He's just acting weird.
And he's trying to wear hats instead of like, he's just going on normally. Like he honestly could have sat with her and been like, listen, I just want to let you know I got my hair done. I went to Turkey. I got the hair thing.
That would be hot, honestly. If he I think if you're a guy and you're doing this with your hair, I think like if you show up to the date and you're like, hey, like, I'm kind of insecure about my hair. I got this done. Like, it's going to look a little weird for a few weeks. I hope you're like okay with that. I feel a little insecure about it, but like the owning your thing, like I think that would be so much hotter than someone with a full head of hair who couldn't say that.
I'm with you. I listen, I know off the top of my head 5 men who have gotten it done. And it's going to be more than...
Text me after.
I'll send you all the men. Well, Mateo Lane, friend of the show, friend of mine, did a whole special about it. I don't think
destigmatize it.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. I think it's on YouTube or Hulu or Netflix, one of the 3, that he talks about getting the hair transplant.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
And it just takes time. I actually think it's like one of the braver things of the like looks department thing, because it doesn't just happen overnight. Like it takes a while. You have to tend to it. You have to like let it breathe. Yeah, and to me, it's like a garden.
I actually think it's kind of hot to say you're doing that. Again, if said the right way, if you're owning it and you can be like, I think it's great that men care about their appearance. Why should we be the only ones suffering, injecting blood from our arms into our under eyes? Like, I'm like, yeah, we should both be trying. I think it's hot when a guy is like taking care of his physical appearance.
Totally agree. I'm happy that some of these sad, bald losers can finally get what I'm getting every day and run my fingers through my own hair. No, listen, I'm blessed in the hair department, and I would take other things from other men and do it to my body too. So like, I understand insecurities. I fuck around, but I do think you're right. Like owning it, like,
yeah, it's about how you phrase it.
But I think for this guy, I mean, there's 2 things that's either happening. He's either truly insecure about it, or he's using it as a way to like whimper out of this thing, which is a weird way to go too. And like, I think what you said, leave the, hey, I think you're hot. I wouldn't be with you if I didn't think you were attractive. The hair thing.
I'm down to try this again. Yeah.
Right. And the hair is only going to get better from here. And just know.
Just remember that I liked you when you were at your low.
When you are putting your hair into a bun, remember me.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great email because this is happening more and more now.
Yeah. And again, I'm into it. I think more men should be insecure. I love it.
Well, it is one of those, like, the message gets muddled to men, I do think, where it's like, be insecure, but like, I shouldn't have to take care of you. Like I'm not your mother. And you're like,
be insecure, but own it and be vulnerable about it and then do something about it.
Right.
I think that's great. He's insecure about the hair. He's doing something about the hair. Now just like own that. Don't make it weird.
And maybe he's realizing that he's still insecure. He's already gotten it done and it didn't do anything for his confidence. So like maybe that's part of it too, where he's like fighting against.
Yeah.
Like I listen, I had
maybe
this
she should ask to touch it. It would probably make him think that she thought it was hot.
I don't know if I would want. I don't know.
Can I touch it? No.
Those little seedlings. I don't know. I
love your hair. Can I touch it?
I don't know. I think he did something to improve himself, and now there's a little bit of fear of like maybe this wasn't the problem all along.
Right. Maybe I'm still sad.
And now I just have hair and I'm sad.
I'm just a sad-haired man.
Let's do another email.
All right, let's do it. Okay, hi JJ, huge fan of the podcast. I'm a recent benefit subscriber and I listen to every episode. Our favorite.
People love the benefits.
They do. My husband of 5 years has gotten increasingly more nervous flying to the point where he doesn't really want to do it if it can be avoided. For context, we live on the East Coast, only a few hours drive from his parents, but my family is mostly in the Midwest and West Coast where we need to fly. Plus, to make it even harder, we have young children, which makes flying even more difficult. Honestly, a nightmare. It's really important to me to visit my family at least twice a year, and we also have other weddings, trips with friends, etc., that have us flying a few more times each year. We both work long hours, so don't have the time to road trip places, and to be candid, we have the money to fly when we want to, so we don't need to be economical. I'm not going to drive like those poors.
Yeah, no.
I used to work in...
What are they, the Griswolds? No.
All right. I used to work in consulting where I flew all the time and still sometimes travel for work and never have any anxiety. Good for you. I try to be sympathetic, but it's not a fear I can relate to, and he can't really explain it because he used to do it no problem. How do I acknowledge and accept his fear while also thoughtfully making it clear that just avoiding flying isn't an option for us? Thanks for all you do.
I used to have a big fear of flying, but I always did it, you know, like, and I kind of flew it out of myself a little bit because I fly so much.
Right. Like aversion therapy. You just like pushed through and nothing bad happened.
Right. And I know the noises. I've felt big turbulence. I've felt snow turbulence. I know I've had planes going to land and then lift up again, but I still do get nervous when it's big turbulence or if I'm feeling anxious, and sometimes I just have a moment where I don't feel great.
I mean, I kind of get why it's gotten worse. Like there's been all those headlines about all those planes, just like all these issues with all these planes. It feels like they're like everywhere. Even though, again, it is safer to fly than it is to drive.
Well, that guy's heard this 1,000, heard that 1,000 times.
Right. Sorry to be not helpful, but that is also the truth. But here's what I would say. We're a family that needs to fly.
Right.
Clearly, you're having a lot of anxiety about it. Could you see someone to work through this specific issue? Could you see a licensed professional who can help you work on this fear so that we can fly as a family? Because I don't plan on not flying for the rest of our lives. So like,
right.
Work it out.
I think I would even ask him, how do you think we do this the rest of our lives?
What's your plan for us?
Right. What's the plan here? Like I would ask that question. And if he doesn't have an answer and it's like, so what are you doing to get to a plan? And I think that's where we get to what you just said, as far as like, that's when therapy comes in, and like there are like phone lines you can call to like talk to
or
a
like
pilot.
Behavioral coach. Doesn't have to be that formal, I think.
Right. Yeah. And there's a number of remedies out there for fear of flying.
Holding the person next to you's hand.
Right. Right. That's a remedy as well. But I think it's a sit down. It's what do you see happening for the next year as far as seeing my parents? For a lot of men specifically, or people, when you get into the vagaries of how are you going to do 1,000 years from now, our whole lives, forget about your whole life. Next year, I'd
like to go to Aruba.
Right. Here are the plans I have for the next year, which most people do. Are you going to be a part of those trips? And if you are you mentally able to do those considering your fear of flying?
Right.
That kind of like breaks it down to specifics and gets him talking about this. And if he's like, I'm doing nothing, and gets angry or that's someone who's not negotiating with you. That's not a relationship.
And if he can't acknowledge that this is an issue, like long term, I agree with you. He has to have a plan. And I think you can be sympathetic, but also like in need of a plan because it isn't just a fear that just affects him.
You have to go to your parents. How are you going to do it? I'm going to get on a fucking plane. That's how I'm going to do it. And it's like, I don't need someone next to me to like empathize with me. Let's just fucking get there.
Right.
Problem, solution. And if he has no solutions, then he doesn't want to be in a family with you. Is that what he's saying? Like, I know that's an extreme, but it's like...
Right. No, he should be able to like acknowledge that it's a problem.
Right.
And work through it with you. That's what a marriage is. Otherwise, he'd be single. No kids, and then never fly anywhere.
Let's play some games. You ready?
Let's do it, yes.
Red flag or deal breaker. This is the game that has caught fire across this great nation of ours. Red flag or deal breaker. You're dating someone. Something crazy happens. Is it a red flag? You keep dating them, or is it a deal breaker and you end it sight unseen? Are you ready?
We'll be playing these at the show, too. So if you have ones for the show that you want to submit, email us, uup@betches.com. Submit your red flag or deal breakers. If you're going to be there, even better.
Send it in. J&J Love the Pod. You validated my decision to ditch the apps. I moved to Tokyo, joined Hinge. I guess they didn't ditch him for too long. Joined Hinge for a casual hookup. Started seeing a guy in his 40s who's been single for 18 months. We hooked up on our first date. It was fun. His technique was not great, but I rarely expect to come since it takes time to get comfortable. Date 2, I went down on him, and afterwards he told me that he wasn't really into oral sex. He didn't ask me to stop, though. I then asked if he was into giving oral. He said no. Since oral sex is an important part of my orgasm, I was disappointed, but figured he must have other ways of making women come. I was wrong. He must have a whole box of toys ready to cast his spells with his wands. I initially thought it wouldn't be a deal breaker, especially since I enjoy both giving and receiving. But when I realized that he wasn't doing anything else to make me come after he had already come, then would say, I know that coming is not essential every time you have sex. It made me want to say, that's rich of you to say when you come every time. This, in addition to a general lack of respect and inconsistent communication, led me to break things off after multiple, she puts in parentheses, too many dates. Do you think refusing to give oral is a red flag or a deal breaker? Is it all about context? Do you think someone coming out of a long-term relationship can be persuaded to change, or is this just who they are, a headless bitch? What do you think, red flag or deal breaker?
Okay. I don't think refusing, not being comfortable with giving oral is a deal breaker. I think saying you don't have to come every time, like it's not a big deal, is the deal breaker. I think you're entitled to not do anything sexually that you don't want to do that makes you uncomfortable. That's your right. If it's something the other person likes, they're entitled to also find someone who does like doing that. Right. But I don't think it's like a deal breaker to have certain things sexually that you don't want to do. But I think this comment is more of indicative of who this guy is and like that he doesn't really care about her pleasure that much. That's a different scenario. Saying I don't give head is one thing. Saying I don't give head and you'll figure it out is another.
This is one of those that like, it feels like a Reddit thread. Like it feels like someone wrote this and it's like not even true. It's just like victim porn, you know, like you write this story about this like heinous individual.
You don't believe her?
I believe her. I'll take her at her word. But like, to me, the guy is like, it's not relatable to me. Because I go down on everyone. But it's not relatable in the sense that, like, it's okay to be turned off that someone isn't really vibing with you sexually.
Yeah.
That's more the issue. Like, I'm with you, Jordana. Like, to put everyone in a box of, like, if you don't go down on people, you're an evil devil. You're the devil. Like, I can't say that to someone. I can say that I personally would be turned off.
Go down on everyone.
I go down on everyone. Everyone, every I'm licking holes all over the place. The question is just like, I don't know. She ended it. Like, it's good for you. You should end it. Like, it's weird the way he put it. I think he said it wrong. Like, you don't need to come. Like, speaking in you terms about someone else's sexual pleasure is like crazy.
Right.
I'm with you. That's the deal breaker.
Agreed.
Well, you know, you don't like to come that much, so we good.
You're fine. You're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
This is one of those topics that's so easy to like hot take. For me, if a woman's like, I don't give head, I'm like, well, good luck with everything. I don't think you're a bad person, but like,
that's
we're probably
fine.
not a match.
Yeah. Right. Which is fine. But I don't think it's like universal deal breaker for everyone. No. But yeah. All right. Let's do another one.
Let's do another.
All right. Hey, you up. Got a red flag or deal breaker question for you. I went on 2 dates with this guy and obviously did a little Google deep dive. Got to make sure he's not lying about his name, job, or using ancient photos, all of which I've encountered before. Saved a few screenshots to send my friends, including a frat pic of him because it was hilarious. He had hair then. He's bald now.
Ew.
Another baldy. Also grabbed a screenshot of his dad's work website because the resemblance was uncanny. All right, we get it. Cut to date 2. I'm showing him a photo on my phone, and you know how the little preview strip at the bottom shows your recent pics? Yup, right there was his college photo and his dad's headshot. No idea if he saw them, but very possible. So red flag or deal breaker, you're on an early date and realize the person has saved pics of you in college and your parents on their phone. Thanks for all you do.
Not a deal breaker. Green flag.
I agree. I think it would be like if they owned it and they were like, yeah, I was just showing my my roommate pictures of your dad from his website. Caught.
Even if they didn't own it, yeah. Like if I just saw it, I would be like,
you wouldn't say
nice.
Anything?
No, I'd be like, they cared.
Is that
about
me?
What?
I'd be like, why isn't this your wallpaper?
Right. To me, it's a show of like caring that who you went on a date with and you took interest.
Yeah, you did a little research. Yeah, you wouldn't just.
To me, it's more of a deal breaker to like deny that like Googling happens.
Right.
You know, like that we see those emails a lot where it's like, I don't, you know, who needs to look things up? If you got like offended by this, it's a deal breaker. The idea that someone doesn't look someone up before going on a date with them in this day and age is crazy.
I agree.
I mean, I had this similar thing happen recently. I was on a date with someone and I think they might have seen, like I was on a date and they had a public Instagram account and then we got done with a date and they have a private Instagram account.
Like you're saying they did that on purpose.
They must have seen that I guess I might have shown them something on Instagram where they saw that their name was searched and
oh, okay.
Gotta close that up. Funny. So okay. I noticed it.
Well, sometimes people open it for a date, like so that you can see, and then they'll close it once they're done.
I have seen all ways and forms, and all of it makes sense to me.
I agree. All right. Well, I would say neither red flag nor deal breaker.
Right. Let's do one more. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Had a red flag or deal breaker that you guys need to weigh in on. I met this guy over an app and we had some mutual friends in common, which was a green flag, especially for being in our mid-30s. 32 female. Well, let me just say to this person, let's not make people mid-30s before they're mid-30s.
Right. Yeah, that's low 30s. Women like to get ahead of ourselves sometimes by like aging ourselves. So no one ages us first.
Right, but not exactly like attractive. Like you're kind of like negging yourself.
Right. So if a woman was saying that something like that, you would be
I'd be off. Like, she's miserable.
Okay.
I would like, she's a negative Nancy.
I could agree with that. I think that's a tendency. I've done this before. I think it's a tendency we sometimes have, but I agree. It's not helping anything.
Right. He is very buff, which is great since I live a pretty active and healthy lifestyle. Who is going to eat kale salads and play pickleball with me when I'm 80? Yuck, I know. We found out we are both Italian, both into sports and both the same religion. Green flags all around. We set a date to meet up and eat some pasta. Meanwhile, he sent me a few pictures of his cute dog, a pit bull. I love dogs. I was into it until we kept texting. He told me that he personally cooks for his dog, DoorDashes his dog sushi, takes his dog to a daycare just so he can play with other dogs even when he is off from work. He said he was trying to keep the dog alive for as long as possible, hopefully 20 years, to the extent of putting the dog on steroids and not the type of steroids you take for a cold. So then I got to thinking, cue Carrie Bradshaw, if this guy is 250 pounds and 5'6",
wow.
he's got a low center of gravity. This guy's brick
This is
shit
sometimes
house.
like a short guy kind of does this sometimes, I think.
250? That's a big fucking dude.
Yeah.
There was a good chance his dog and he were doing steroids together. Okay. I don't think they're shooting each other up like they're my parents doing Ozempic. Would I be on the next? Would I be on the next steroid train? At this point, I felt like this was too much testosterone for one house and politely bowed out, saying I didn't feel a romantic connection for him or his roided out dog. I then channeled his experience into a song that I shared with the group chat. Screenshots and song attached. Who let the dogs out, betch? What do we think? Should we read the text?
You'll be him. I'll be her.
Okay. I take this guy to daycare every day so he can play with his friends. I feel like he's like a big Italian. I gotta read it in
they're both Italian. Italian.
I take this guy to daycare every day so he can play with his friends. He's a very spoiled dog.
He sounds like he has a good life. When did you get him?
He's 7, LOL, but he's basically still a puppy, Gabagoo.
He didn't say Gabagoo.
Okay. I give him some multivitamins and CBD and testosterone boosters, LMAO. And he exercises all the time, trying to keep him around for 20 years. He barely eats dog food. He likes mom's gabagoo and the brajol and the Sunday sauce and some gravy. Most of his diet is pasture-raised eggs, LOL, very spoiled.
Oh my gosh, he's taken care of better than most dudes. And he eats better than most gym rats. I keep finding Sour Patch Kids on the gym equipment. Meanwhile, your dog is eating pasture-raised eggs. Crying, smiling emoji.
He reacts to that. It's just him and I, so I cook extra food for him, LOL. And last night we split DoorDash, sushi.
What did he think of that?
Oh, he eats sushi all the time. He eats off chopsticks. My 2 favorite foods are sushi and pizza. Could eat it every day. Bada bing.
Gabagool.
Gabagool.
That's exactly how Mike speaks as an Italian guy. So
that's what I like most about Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I like hanging out with him. So I'm clicking on the song. Okay, so we have the song that she wrote. Roll the tape. Oh, this is like a real thing. What is this, Coldplay? This is crazy. This is... Well, a very nice rendition of he feeds his dog, with chopsticks. What do you think? What do you think of our very talented listener?
Do I think this is a red flag or a deal breaker? Are we saying? I guess.
Right.
I think the guy's a little... Here's the thing. 2 weeks ago, I would have said deal breaker. Now that I have a dog, I kind of get it. You
kind of get it. When he eats the food right out of your hands, you're happy.
Yeah. No, I mean, here's the thing. His dog is 7, so the novelty is probably worn off. But part of me is like, I can see now more easily how a dog could become your entire personality. And this seems a little excessive. In some ways, I think it's nice because like this guy clearly is... It's almost like having a dog is like the only manly way to show that you're like can take care of something.
Right. Fair.
You know, there's like something a little nice about it. Like he really loves this dog. He wants to like treat it as nicely as you would a human person. So that in itself to me isn't a deal breaker. The testosterone booster is a little weird to me because I think the testosterone booster with the bodybuilding himself is a little bit like unethical, right? Like, why does your dog need a testosterone booster? Trying to make him like a fighting dog?
I'm not a dog owner. I'm not, like you, Jordana, a mother of a dog mom. And even still, I'm thinking she's the deal breaker.
Because she's not into it?
Well, it's not about not being into it. Like, they have a date planned, and then they get to texting about his dog, and he's showing you how excited he is about his dog. And then she's like writing songs about him and making fun of him to her friends. And they haven't even gone on one date. Like,
if there was no song, what would you think? Let's say she was just making fun of him privately.
Here's the thing. She agreed to a date and then has some texts and like assumes that they'd all have to take steroids. I understand why this is a funny story at the brunch table. Mm-hmm. Like, this is someone to talk about, but she didn't even go out with him. He's 5'6", 250, and they're both Italian. What do you think you're getting? Like, and he has a pit bull. Like, I can't believe how shocked you are that this guy treats his, like, this is very Italian man who lifts of him. Like, I kind of take issue with that this is like such a crazy right turn that this all took for her to not go on the date. Like, that's my
right
issue.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of like, oh, does he also like iron his t-shirts and go home and have his mom do his laundry? Like, oh my God, who could have
gym tan laundry?
Right. Like, it seems like you didn't like him for other reasons, and this is the crazy reason that you can tell your friends what a loser he is. But like, I'm not shocked by this.
Right. Yeah. With the exception of the dog testosterone to make him. Right, I want to know more about that. That might be a deal breaker for me. Like, why are you? Is your dog's manliness like something of importance to you?
Right. It just doesn't seem like reason enough to cancel a date that you already had made. Like, you had the date made. Like, it's not like this happened over the app within 2 messages and he's like, oh, I'm feeding my dog chops. Feed my dog unagi. He hates wasabi. Like, whoa. We haven't even talked yet. Like, you guys set up a date. You thought he was, you had all these things in common. Italian, both in the sports, same religion, green flags all around. We set up a date to meet, eat some pasta. Like, he was totally game in this like one thing about his dog. Like,
yeah. And again, I think it's like kind of endearing. I mean, it'd be better to kind of like show, not tell. I think it's a little like, look how obsessed I am with like it's a little, I could see being like, it feels a little much to be into the dog if she's not a dog person. But
I am not a dog person, and I crushed him for how crazy he sounded over text, and I still think she's
the issue. Yeah, I agree. I would say red flag only because the testosterone supplements. I'm like, are you trying to breed a cage fighter? Because that would be
right. What is this all for? I agree.
Right.
But that's first date talk territory.
Right.
You didn't even give yourself a chance to be turned off by him. It seems like you were turned off by other things, and this was a good story for friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Same religion, same this. You're like, all these things are like huge things. And then he's like,
who do you think you are? You are this guy.
Right.
Right. No gabagool for you.
You got a Sunday sauce yourself. You like gravy, so.
All right. We did it.
We solved dating again. We'll be back on Friday.
Bye.